3 homes are unlivable this evening in the Iowa Great Lakes after a fire that began Tuesday afternoon in one house and spreading to 2 neighboring homes. KTV's Ellen Ide was there last night, and she joins us live tonight from Arnolds Park. Ellen, what do we know about this fire at this hour?
Katie, investigators are still working to determine what caused that fire that tore through these homes on Allen Avenue yesterday afternoon. Crews were originally dispatched to what they were told was a garage explosion that quickly spread to 3 neighboring buildings, leaving 2 destroyed and 1 heavily damaged. They're also taking a closer look at a brush fire that was burning outside of one of these homes. Crews were called out just before 4:30 and arrived to find 3 structures already burning. Mutual aid was requested immediately as firefighters battled flames in tight quarters along these narrow downtown streets. It took about an hour and 15 minutes to get the fire under control. Later, an excavator was brought in to tear into the most heavily damaged home to see if there were any hot spots still burning at that point. No one was inside these homes when the fire started, though one person was treated at the scene for possible smoke inhalation. Katie, these fires are still under investigation at this hour, but investigators say that no foul play is expected. But we'll keep you up to date as more information becomes available.
All right, KTV's Ellen Ide live from Arnolds Park, Iowa tonight with Live Link 4. Ellen, thanks for the update.